Namaskar to all of you. Respected Jaji, Director, National Mission for Manuscripts, Madam Nirupama Katru, Joint Secretary, uh, Ministry of Culture, dear participants from various parts of India and from abroad. I can see the names of some of my colleagues even, my students and my friends. I feel honored to deliver this lecture on Vignapti Patras on this big platform given by the National Mission for Manuscripts. Before talking about the Vignapti Patras, I would like to share something. All of you know that India has the biggest and the richest collection of manuscripts other than the other countries. And when we talk about the western part of India, particularly the Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Maharashtra, we have number of Jain manuscripts in our collection. When we visit various libraries of this western part of India, you will observe that rich collection of Jain manuscripts are there in all the libraries, in all the private collections, and even we have many Jain Bhandaras. So among all these Jain manuscripts, you will see that there are many manuscripts on Jain miniature paintings. And you know that Jainas have contributed significantly to the commissioning of the manuscripts. And particularly, they have immensely contributed to the manuscripts which have text as well as the miniature paintings. And among these collections, this Vignapti Patra is also one of the very significant genre of the text that we found in Jain collections. In my institute, in Oriental Institute, we have 4 Vignapti Patras, and I come across these Vignapti Patras and I started studying these Vignapti Patras and I developed interest in this. So, first of all, we must know that what is the meaning of Vignapti Patra, what the term Vignapti Patra suggests, what it denies. Yeah. So the word Patra, when we see in its general sense, in its context with the manuscript, it means a leaf. When we speak about the Tadpatra or the Gurja Patra, so Patra here is a leaf of a tree. But here in case of Vignapti Patra, it has a different connotation. So here, when we analyze the term Vignapti, it is V is the Upasarga. It means something that is very special. And Vina is the root, that means knowledge or a kind of information. And then there is a Ta Pratyaya. So Vignapti means here a special kind of knowledge or a special kind of information and a special kind of announcement. And when we join the word Patra with it, it means a letter. Why it is letter? Because in this Vignapti Patra, in this kind of manuscript, an invitation is given to Jain Yati to come to their city to stay for 4 months, that is Chaturmas. So here, since invitation is given to a Jain Yati in this text, it is also known as invitation letter. And it is an announcement letter for the people to come to know that it is that particular Jain Yati is going to come to our city for the stay for 4 months, and he is going to deliver some of the religious lectures, some religious discourses will be there. So it is also known as announcement. It is also known as the invitation letter. So such kind of Vignapti Patras are found in the libraries of this western part of India particularly. There may be in some other parts they are found, but in a large number they are found in the western part of India, that is Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra. But particularly in Rajasthan and Gujarat, they are found in numbers in the libraries. So when we have seen the meaning of Vignapti Patra, I think it is clear to all of you. And when we see, let us see that how old these Vignapti Patras are found. It is observed that in some of the palm leaf manuscripts of 12th, 13th centuries. They are found in fragments, but not in full. The Vignapti Patras are found, but they are found in fragments. So from the 12th century onwards, we can see that Vignapti Patras were started writing. Okay, but from the 15th century onwards, these Vignapti Patras are found written on the loose folios, as we find the manuscript of a Veda or you say Natak or Kavya. So similarly, these Vignapti Patras are also found written on paper manuscript on the loose folios. Because these Vignapti Patras are only textual, and later on, these Vignapti Patras are found with beautiful illustrations. It has a text as well as beautiful illustrations. So these Vignapti Patras are found from the 17th century onwards. So when you see these Vignapti Patras in any library, it is from 17th century onwards, they are always text with the illustrations. And before that, the Vignapti Patras are only the textual part. So now, when this tradition has started, that I said, and this tradition belongs to particularly to Jain Svetambar tradition. It is a Jain Svetambar tradition of sending an invitation letter in which a request is made to Jain Yati to stay in the city for 4 months of Chaturmas, that is monsoon, for religious discourse among people. You know that Jain Yatis, they generally move to various places. They travel from one place to other during the 8 months of summer and winter. But during 4 months, Chaturmas, they stay at one place. So it is a kind of quarantine, for them. They do a lot of intellectual activities. They deliver many religious discourses. During those time, people are gathered, the Jain community people, they gathered at one place. There will be big pandals and many, the Jain Yati will sit and he will give Upadesh and he will read the Uttaradhyaya and Sutra, many other religious texts he will read. So these kind of the religious activities will take place during the Chaturma. Now, the first Vignapti Patra which we find is the Tridasa Tarangini, is the name of the text. That is the Vignapti Patra written by Muni Sundar Suri to his Guru. And the another one is Vignapti Trivani. It is of 15th century, written by Vachak Jaisagar. So these are the Vignapti Patras, earliest Vignapti Patras that we find. Now, the question comes to our mind that what kind of literary form it has, which are the languages used, in which lipi, which script it is written. Yeah, so it is a unique kind of literary form originated by the Jain poet saints. It is a Patra Kavya. Actually, the genre is Patra Kavya. In Patra Kavya, the Jain poets have contributed a lot. And the structure of it's, what is the structure of the poetry? It is the same as we find in classical Sanskrit poetry. It is written in Shardula Vikridita meter or Upjati or Shalini or Anushtup Chand. So this poetry is written in this kind of meters. And since this Vignapti Patra is written in multi languages, like it has Sanskrit, it has Prakrit, and sometimes it is mixed with the vernacular languages also. Because if it is written in Rajasthan, it has a Marwadi, or many they have Wagadi, another language. And if it is written in Gujarat, then Juni Gujarati, old Gujarati is also found in them. So for Prakrit, there are also various meters used like Savaya, Surtha, Hataka. So these kind of meters are found in Prakrit. And in Deshi language, they have used Duha, and particularly in Gujarati, they have used Ghazal form, because Gujarat has the influence of Persian literature. So Ghazal is also found in the text of Vignapti Patra. So this is basically a kind of Sandesh Kavya, a Duta Kavya, and it has a kind of a Chitra Kavya. Some Bandha Kavyas are also there, and we can also call it a Khanda Kavya because it is a Lahu or short poetry. And the quality of the poetry is also of ornamental poetry. It has a very far-fetched imagination because it has a description of the city, it has a eulogy of the Jainiyati. So you can see the far-fetched imagination and a wonderful narrative technique is found in this Vignapti Patra. So as I said that sometimes you get this Vignapti Patra only textual and sometimes it is a text with the beautiful illustrations. And when it has a beautiful illustrations, the uh, size of the Vignapti Patra is increased and they are written on scroll form. So you found the Vignapti Patra in either 30 feet long, they are sometimes 40 feet long, and even I have read that it is 108 feet long Vignapti Patra is also available. So it is a very, very long in size and in width it is 9 to 10 inches in width. So this is the structure and mostly they are written on paper and mounted on the cloth. Now when we see that how the Vignapti Patra starts, the text form. So when we see the text form of the Vignapti Patra, it starts with the invocation. Invocation to Adinath or Mahavir or Parshvanath. So this is found and next you will get the glorification of the city where the Jain monk is invited. And then the eulogy of invited Jain Yati. The Jain Yati whom we are inviting, his eulogy is found in a many shlokas. And then there is a description of Jaina philosophy like the Sravaka Dharma. Then there is a characteristics of qualities of a Jain Yati and major and minor व्रत. क्योंकि आप जानते हैं कि जैसे जैन धर्म में बहुत सारे व्रत है, अणुव्रत है, महाव्रत है, तो ऐसे कौन से व्रतों की वो पालते हैं, कौन से व्रत का आचरण करते हैं और उसमें क्या क्या करते हैं, क्या क्या करना चाहिए, ये सभी बातों का हमें वर्णन जैन विज्ञप्ति पत्र में मिलता है। और जो यति है उनके भी क्या क्या गुण रहे हैं उसका भी हमें वर्णन ये विज्ञप्ति पत्र में मिलता है। And at the last you will get the colophon that is called puspika. The colophon हमें देती है उसकी date, the person who has written the text, the person who has copied, and the date of the manuscript, and you will say, sometimes get the place of from where it is copied. So this is called colophon, which we generally found in all the manuscripts. And then we got the names. Now here names means what? Here names are found of the merchants, the Jain merchants who are going to fund this entire yatra because you are inviting Jain Yati to your city. So there will be many gatherings, there will be many people, and you have to give them food. There will be big pandals. There will be the religious discourse and many other religious activities are going to there. So you need to have a lot of money. It is going to be a very expensive affair. So the people, the Jain merchants who are rich, they will fund this entire project. So the names of those Jain merchants also occur at the end. And finally, the signatures of these Jain merchants will also come. So this way, the text part is there. And before this, because when I have to speak about the illustrations part, I have to show you the Vignapti Patra. You will see the beautiful Vignapti Patra, and this Vignapti Patra is of Jaisalmer. I have given the name of the place. Generally, it is given the name of Jain Yati by the Jain Munis when they have edited. They have given the name of the Jain Yati, but I have given the name of the city. Now, you can see that how Jain Vignapti Patra has been started. So generally, it starts with a kalash. You can see that. Share this. Okay, I forgot to share the screen. Okay, so just a minute. Yes, you can see the screen. Yeah, I think you can see the screen. Here you can see that kalash is seen in the beginning. So it is an auspicious symbol in all the our Hindu and Jain religion. So kalash is that signifies the auspiciousness. And then you can see that two persons are on the palace, and they are guarding the palace. The three attires are seen here, and yes, in this next you can see that goddess Trishula is sleeping. Mother Trishula is sleeping in the bed, and she is observing the 14 dreams. And this is a very famous in Jain darshan, Jain philosophy, that Mother Trishula visualizes the 14 dreams and before the birth of Mahavir. And which are those 14 dreams that are drawn in the, they are portrayed in the Vignapti Patra. And in the second picture, you can see that the king is sitting with his ministers and some, kind of a Jyotishi, and they are, forecasting. They are telling that how the child is going to be and what will be his qualities. So that is shown in this second picture, and then you can see the 14 dreams. Here in 14 dreams, you can see one by one the enormous elephant, lucky bull, playful lion, the goddess Lakshmi, pair of garland, the moon, sun, celestial banner, feature, and pond of lotuses. The milky ocean, the celestial abode, the vessel full of jewels and smokeless fire. So this symbolizes the the characteristics of the valor of the child that is going to born. So these are the 14 dreams that gives us very significant, this is very significant in Jain philosophy. And then you can see the Ashtamangalas, Darpana, Pushpa, Nandyavarta, Purnagata, Matsyayugma, Bhadrasan, Churnapatra, and Swastik. Now these Ashtamangal, they hold important place as a symbolic worship in Jain Vignapti Patras. In all the Vignapti Patras. And from here onwards, when the place is changed, if it is a Vignapti Patra of some other city, the description of some other thing will come here. But this, since this is a Jaisalmer's Vignapti Patra, you can see the fort of Jaisalmer. It is very, very famous. Sonar Kila, it is said in Jaisalmer, right? So everybody, might be many of the participants have visited this place, and it is very famous, this Sonar Kila. And you can see how beautifully it is portrayed here. You can see here even the outskirts, the hills are shown here, and then the fort is shown here, it is portrayed. And here you can see the temples are visible here, the havelis, the security sources, the palace, the residential complexes, the army, and the giant temples. These things are very clearly visible. Even here you can see the Tula Dan is very famous. It is also described here. The mammoth merchant havelis that built in the 12th century, they are also portrayed very nicely in this illustration. And the fine example, you can see the fine example of craftsmanship, even the sculptural filigrees, the windows, the pavilion, the balconies of mansions are amazingly portrayed in this illustration. Now here you can see the houses uh, of the common people are also portrayed. So men and women, here you can see that they are standing in the balcony, they are looking at the road. The person sitting, a person, sitting on a road, and he is selling, he has a basket and a snake. So he's a juggler. And the another picture you may not be able to see here because it is a very miniature painting, but here I have seen the original picture. So there is a hawker who is selling a food item, and probably it is a chana jor garam kind of thing in his thali, and there is a juggler having a snake in his basket. So it is a very beautiful picture, a very common, what we find today even in our marketplaces when we go to the city. So such kind of beautiful, very lively picture of the city is given here. Here even you can see that since it is Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, you can see their pagdi, what kind of pagdi they are wearing on, and what kind of dresses the women have. It is similar like what we now today we see what they wear. So a complete Rajasthani kind of dress which you can observe here. And this is the marketplace, like we have a mall today. So those days also they have a lot of shops, and they can go to the market, and they can buy whatever they want. So here in this Vignapti Patra, there are 18 shops are described, means portrayed. And so it is a shops of jewelry, the milk, sweet, clothes for rich as well as ordinary people. Why I'm saying, because uh, in the shop you can see that very very good kind of costly expensive kind of clothes are portrayed, and in some shops there are ordinary kind of clothes, and even the customers, from customers also we can make out that which kind of people are coming to the shops. And then there are dyers, the cobbler, the potter, the blacksmith, even the turban selling, because it is a Rajasthan and the people wear the turban. So the shop of turban is also there. There is a shop of weapons, and there is a shop of the sword sharpening. One lady is seen operated the machine of sharpening the sword, sharpening the weapons. So here we can see the involvement of women also in business, because the dyer, in the shop of dyer, there is a one lady who is dyeing the clothes. So we can see the involvement of women also in this business, and the customers, we can observe they are both men and women, and they have a very wonderful, very beautiful, they are dressing and their ornaments. And here, again, these are some of the shops. And the last one, you can see the Pravesh Dwar. Pravesh Dwar, from where the procession of Jain Yati will enter. So you can see these some of the shops, and then the Pravesh Dwar. Yes, this is a very, very beautiful picture. It is in horizontal shape, and you'll not find all the Vignapti Patra so beautiful. I have brought for you the most beautiful Vignapti Patra. So here you can see this is a very important portrait of procession of Jainiyati. There, there are male and female monks, you can observe here. The five soldiers that holding a flags on elephants, some soldiers on horses, then some persons, they are driving the cart which has a long religious flag over it. There are some palanquins, the palki which is covered maybe for the wife of a rich merchant. There are some open palkis for the merchants because they are funding the entire procession. Then you can see the two persons with a trumpet in their hand, six-person with musical instruments, because they play the music and they sing the songs also while the Jain Yati is coming to their place. And that is why in Vignapti Patra you find the text in Prakrit, Savaya and Hataka type of chant that they can sing while the procession is going on. So these musicians, they play the music, and the women, the group of women you can see at the left corner, they sing this Savaya kind of chanda. They sing the duha, they sing the ghazalas, and this way they invite to welcome the Jain yati to their place. So you can see how well decorated these men and women and holding the Indradhvaja in their hands. So it is a festival. They are so happy that these Jain yatis are coming to their place. They feel, very, uh, they are very happy. They are very, they feel honored, and they see that now these 4 months they are going to have a very good time, and they will have very good religious discourses, and it is going to be a very spiritual, journey. So they are very happy, and this entire procession you can see. Even you can see that under the canopy, the Jain yati is coming, and one person is holding the chamar behind his head, and he is fanning with the chamar, and he may be the principal yati, the main yati, and then the others are the followers. So this is a very important Jain Vignapti Patra. Now we can see some other Vignapti Patras also, but this is the textual part of that Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra. So after the illustrations, you will get this kind of text in the scroll, and you have to read this text. It is mixed with the, it is in Devanagari script. It has the Sanskrit, it has Prakrit, it has Rajasthani, but it has many, Rajasthani is not a language, but they have many kind of colloquial languages. So it may be Marwadi or Wagdi or many other, and it is in Old Gujarati. So this, it has the 4 languages in this Vignapti. So, and the style is the, though I have written is Duha, but the Sanskrit has many meters and Prakrit has many meters, as I said it earlier. So this kind of text part is there. So I have shown you the beautiful Jain Vignapti Patra. Now, the another one which we have is the Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra we have seen is of 1860 AD. Now, this is older than that. It is 1817 AD. This is Gondal's Vignapti Patra. Now, Gondal is in Gujarat. It is situated in Gujarat. Now, this Vignapti Patra is 28 feet long, but it is in a very brittle condition. But you can see here the difference. The difference of the architecture of Gujarat. You can see the difference is very visible here. It is a Naulakhi Palace of Gondal. It is still located in Gondal. Participants who are from Gujarat, they might have visited, and it is a very beautiful palace still found in Gondal. Here, the Muni Jayachandra Suri of Lankagach is invited to Gondal. So here you can see the pagadi of people is different. Their dress is different because it is a Gujarat, right? That was Maharashtra. So their pagadi and their dresses and their ornaments were different. And here, the ornaments and the dressing of people are different in Gujarat. So this you can see here. Now here also you can see the residential area. It is also the architectural style is different, and even the style of painting is also different. Okay, because this what kind of style of painting in Vignapti Patra is the altogether different topic, and the art historians can contribute in this area. So you can see that Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra has a different style of painting, and this Gujarat Vignapti Patra has a different style of painting. And here you can see their long, the garland they are wearing, their long dresses, and the pagadi they are wearing. This is a typical Gujarati style. Yeah. Now again we are going back to Rajasthan. This is a Vignapti Patra, quite older. It is 1774 AD, and this is, I have taken only the procession part. That is, I want to show here that how different kind of musical instruments they are playing. Sundari, the dhol, tambura, veena, sarangi, jhanj, then dholak and bungal. One person is holding a bungal. In the last line, you can see the long one is the bungal. Then kartal. So bungal is commonly found, of course, in Gujarat also. Bungal is used in Hawaii. So these kind of instruments, they are the folk instruments, lokvadya. they were available in 1774 AD also. So we can go back to the history of many things. It's not just I'm talking of any text, but many things that we are observing here. Okay, then you can see the procession again. So this is a very beautiful picture. You can very, clearly their dresses are, you can see here. What kind of, again, they are holding the weapons that can be observed here. How they are riding on the horses. They are holding the flags and their dress. So these things are very nicely portrayed here. So this is the picture of the procession. But you can see the difference of Jaisalmer painting and the here this painting. They have different kind of paintings. Now this is the arrival of Jain Yati. Now Jain Yati has arrived, and this picture is, what it describes, that Jain Yati is delivering his religious lecture to women. The women are standing, and the Jain Yati is delivering the lecture. The one person is behind him, he is fanning, he has the Rajorohan in his hand. Rajorohan is to remove the Raja, the Dhuli. So that is the Rajorohan in his hand, and you can see his followers. They are also sitting and they are also giving the discourses. And the one person is holding the Indradhwaja in his hand, and the other Anuyayis are also sitting here. So the best part is in this uh, Jain religion is that women are also given a respectful position. They are also given the religious discourses. They can come forward. They can sit in front of the Jain Yati and can have the religious this upadesh. They can have, if they have any question, they want to understand their text or anything, they can ask to Jain Yati, and Jain Yati is very generously he is delivering the lecture, or is delivering or explaining the religious things to women. So the position of women, as I see in Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra, and here in Gondal and in this Vignapti Patra also, we can observe that women were involved in business also. Women were free to move in the market and purchase the things. Women are having the equal, position to get the religious upadesh also. So this is that we can observe. You can see here that beautiful dresses, the style of the dress, the ornaments, and the kind of painting it is. So it describes many things. This Vignapti Patra, I have just copied it from one book, but it is very famous that Haravijaya Suri of Gujarat was invited to the court of Akbar in 1582 AD, and here a farman was prepared by Akbar on the request of Haravijaya Suri that during the 4 months of monsoon there will not be any kind of hinsa. So this is a very famous one, so I brought it here for you. Here you can see, as I speak about the Mangala, Ashtamangalas. So here you can see the women, they have, drawn the swastika in between, and you can see, so the Ashtamangal is very important, and they welcome the Jain monks, the Sadhvijis, by drawing this Ashtamangal. So this is very clear from this picture. Now, about the text part, as I said, that it has a very good description of the city. So here you can see the glorification of the city. Jambu Dvipna Bharatma. This is of Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra. Jambu Dvipna Bharatma Purab Desh Mahant Desh Avar Mein Dekhta E Adhiko Sohant. Kibatin Deshe Pura Gana Pina Sahu Pura Sinagar Bana Rasa Pura Suhamano Indrapuri Anuhar. So here it is described that my city is like Indrapuri, and you come to this city, this is very beautiful. Similarly, in Dungarpur Vignapti Patra, the eulogy of Jain Yati occurs that Jim Deva Mahi Indra, Tara Mahi Chandra, Jim Gir Mahi Meru, Vajintra Mahi Jim Bheru, Raja Mahi Jim Sri Ram, Sati Mahi Jim Sita, Ratna Mahi Jim Chinta Mani Ratna. जिम श्री तपा गच्छ ते माही स्वगुणे करी સર્વગુણે કરી દેદીપ્યમાન છો સુશોભિત છો શ્રી પૂજ્યના ગુણ અનંત છે मूर्ख केम करी वर्णवी मैं मूर्ख हूं मैं कैसे इसका वर्णन करूं। ऐसे देखिए आप बहुत सारी बातें कही आगे पंच महाव्रत पर फिर सकल सूरी भट्टारक पुरंदर भट्टारक श्री श्री 108 बार विजय धर्म सुरेश्वर चरण कमला। तो इस तरह से हमें जो जिस यति को हम बुला रहे हैं उनकी प्रशंसा भी इसमें आती है। इसी तरह आप देखिए कि जब कोई सिटी की बात करते हैं इसके टेक्स्ट और जो इलस्ट्रेशन है दोनों में एक संबंध भी है। तो जो हमें बड़ौदा का विज्ञप्ति पत्र मिलता है उसमें तो क्या क्या बड़ौदा के लोग खाते हैं, गुजरात में लोग क्या खाते हैं, क्या मिठाइयाँ बनती थी तब, ये सभी बात आती है। कौन से फल फूल होते थे, तो जैसे बुरा खांड जंगोई सुखड़ी करत कंदोई, ये सुखड़ी गुजरात के लोग तो जानते हैं, और मगदल जलेबी खाजाक बर्फी लेते हैं झाजाक। तो यहाँ के लोग जलेबी खाते हैं, खाजाक खाते, बर्फी खाते हैं, हाँ पेंडा भी खाते हैं, लाड़ुआ भी खाते हैं, मावा खलका लेते हैं खावा, धेवर शकरपारे, शकरपारा हम सबके घर में बनता है गुजरात में, ममरा सेव है खारे, सेव ममरा की भी बात की है यहाँ देखिए। तो it describes the what kind of food, what kind of sweet the people of Baroda, people of Gujarat they eat. And then comes the kind of fruits that grow in Gujarat, that is Iksu Anar Annasak Srifala Nimbu Fannasak. Then comes the names of the flowers, that Champad Juhuri Ambak Mogra Kevada, then Malati Jaik Damna Gullan. These are the names of the flowers that occurs in the text of Vignapti Patra. So many things, you know, it is not simply a religious text. It is not a text that describes the Jain principles or Jain philosophy, but it describes many other things. It has a scope to study many things in Vignapti Patra. Then it also describes the places. This text is from Baroda Vignapti Patra. Baroda has these places, you know, Tiki Pol Ghadialik. We have Ghadiali Pol. Then Havelia Khub Matwalik. That means there are many beautiful Havelis in Ghadiali Pol. Then Sangam में बहुत साबासिक नरसिंह पोल का वासिक. We have Narsingh Pol, that is the name of the area. Then we have a name of area like Mehta Pol. Then it also describes the gardens, like we have Siabag, Fateh Bag, Mastu Bag, and so it describes many things. Then see in Gondal, it describes a very good poetry. Means in poetry, the Gondal Sair. It describes about the Gondal city. You can read this, and you see these can be sung also. We can sing these songs, and we can, when this procession is going on, these women who are there in the procession, they invite the Jain Yati. When they welcome, they sing this song. So Gondal Sahar hai Banka, Gondal Sahar hai Banka, किला कोट तहाँ पक्का, गोंडलीपुर तलवे है तिक, गंभीर नीर से रहती, किला राज का है खूब मदकर कुलते महबूब, नवलखी महल है महाराज, सोहत इंद्र को संराज, राजे कर्ण जी बड़राज. So here you can see that it describes, you know, particularly when I see the Vignapti Patra of Rajasthan, it describes that we have a very, you know, many ponds, we have many rivers, they are full of water, we have many step wells and many wells, so they are full of water. Why it describes? Because Rajasthan and Gujarat, it is a dry area, and people are afraid during those times of 17th and 18th century. People are afraid that there may not be a drought and there may be a shortage of water. But here it is described in Dungarpur, in Jaisalmer also, that we have many rivers, many ponds, and very many step wells, and it is full of water. So come to our place. And here in Gondal also it is described Kusama Pahad. It describes it gives the name of the mountain, and there is a temple of Matri there. So this is regarding the Gondal Vignapti Patra. Similarly, in Dungar Vignapti Patra, you can see this is very beautiful poetry. You can sing even this poetry. देशांतर दीठा हो राज, नर नारी बसे सुखदाय। सौभागी मारा साहिबा, धनवान लोक बसे घना हो राज। सुखे आनंदे वासर जाय, सौभागी मारा साहिबा। So it is very good poetry in Deshi language. So it also describes this Vignapti Patra, the folk tradition, the folk song, the folk lyrics. So this way also it is a very important text to study the development of the Desi language, the folk tradition of that particular area. So this way it is also very important. Now what we find in colophon. In colophon you will get the actual Vignapti. How this Vignapti is written here. See, आप मोटा हो गचनायक हो, आप रे दर्शन री श्री संग रे घणो हर्ष है। दैट मीन्स आप बड़े हो, आप गच्छ के मुखिया हो और आपके दर्शन के लिए संघ के लोग जो है उनमें बहुत हर्ष है। विनती अवधार ने श्री संघ ऊपर मेहरबानी करने जल्दी पधारसी, आवतो चौमास अठे करावसी। अठे मीन्स यहाँ अठे उनके जो 8 दिन के उपवास होते हैं वो। तो यहाँ ये विनती जो है वो लोकल लैंग्वेज में लिखी गई है, ये संस्कृत। और दूसरे में भी आप देख सकते हैं, विनती पत्र श्री संगरी लिखाई मेली छे सु पहुंचसी, श्री संगरी विनती अवधारसी जल्दी पधारसी। और दूसरे में लिखा है, यहाँ देखिए आप दसकत मुरब्बी नथमल जोरावर संगाणी वरढेरिया। Here you can see the name of the person who has means written, copied this text. So this way we can get the colophon, and in which we get the date also. It has Samvat 1916, or the day and the date, even Sud and Vad, even the कौन सा वार है, जैसे रविवार है, मंगलवार है, कौन सा वार है, ये बात भी इसमें आती है। तो इस तरह से हमें बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वो मिलती है। और बहुत सारे विज्ञप्ति पत्र में हमने देखा कि कैसे हमें खाने की बात भी आती है, उनके ड्रेस ऑर्नामेंट्स भी हम देख सकते हैं, और बहुत सारी बातें आती है जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। और हम देख सकते हैं कि हाँ, अभी हम बात करेंगे, कितना समय है हमारे पास अभी, जी कितना समय है हमारे पास?
आप कंटिन्यू कीजिए, हम एक्सटेंड करेंगे।
कितना समय है?
आप कंटिन्यू कीजिए, हम एक्सटेंड करेंगे।
ओके
दिया जी।
हाँ जी,
हाँ, उसको थोड़ा एक्सटेंड साइड करना पड़ेगा।
ओके तो मैंने बहुत सारे इलस्ट्रेशंस आपको बताए। तो इस तरह के बहुत सारे विज्ञप्ति पत्र जो है आपको लाइब्रेरीज में मिलेंगे। लेकिन एक बात ये बताना चाहूंगी कि अगर आपको ये रुचिपूर्ण लगा है, आपको ये लगता है कि हाँ इसमें काम करना चाहिए, तो आपको पहले तो ये प्रश्न आएगा कि इसको कैसे ढूंढा जाए, है ना। तो जब मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट लाइब्रेरी में हम जाएंगे तो जरूरी नहीं कि इसका नाम हमें कैटलॉग में विज्ञप्ति पत्र मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा। बहुत कम जगह ये नाम मिलता है। तो क्या नाम मिलेगा हमें कैटलॉग में? तो इसका नाम जनरली होगा चित्रांकित लेख, या होगा सिंपली लेख, या होगा पत्र लेख। इस तरह से हमें इसके नाम मिलेंगे। कहीं कहीं जगह पर ये विज्ञप्ति पत्र ऐसे नाम मिलते हैं। तो ये जो है आपको ज्यादा तरह से राजस्थान और गुजरात में मिलेंगे। हाँ ये भी है कि बहुत सारे ऐसे विज्ञप्ति पत्र है जो लिखे गए हैं पंजाब में रहे जैन मुनि के लिए भी, क्योंकि जैन मुनि जो है वो पूरे भारत में सभी प्रांत में है। ये बात अलग है कि वेस्टर्न इंडिया में ज्यादा है, लेकिन ये जो ट्रेडिशन रही विज्ञप्ति पत्र लिखने की, वो इसका ओरिजिन एंड डेवलपमेंट जो है वो वेस्टर्न इंडिया में ही रहा। लेकिन हमें बहुत सारे ऐसे विज्ञप्ति पत्र एक तो मिलता है जो पंजाब में रहे जो जैन मुनि है उनको इनवाइट करते हुए लिखा गया है, और दूसरा एक भी मिलता है जो औरंगाबाद का है, और बहुत सारे विज्ञप्ति पत्र मिलते हैं जो कि इवन अभी जो पाकिस्तान का भाग है वहां भी जैन मुनि कभी रहते थे 17th-18th सेंचुरी, तो उनको लिखा गया ऐसा भी हमें मिलता है। तो वो सब विज्ञप्ति पत्र में हमें वहाँ वो सिटीज का भी डिस्क्रिप्शन मिलता है, जैसे पंजाब का भी मिलेगा या पाकिस्तान का उस भाग का जो प्रदेश का था वहाँ का भी डिस्क्रिप्शन हमें मिलेगा। तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है, व्हाई दिस विज्ञप्ति पत्र आर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर स्टडी? बिकॉज मुझे ये लगता है कि हम जो संस्कृत स्कॉलर्स है या प्राकृत जो लैंग्वेज के स्कॉलर्स है, हम स्टडी करते हैं जनरली हमारी जो संस्कृत या प्राकृत टेक्स्ट को। When we go to the manuscript library, we want to study, we want to search the manuscripts that belong to the Sanskrit literature. Either वो महाकाव्य है या नाटक है या कोई फिलोसॉफी की टेक्स्ट है। लेकिन जब इस तरह की टेक्स्ट हम देखते हैं तो हमारी ये ड्यूटी बनती है, हमारा ये कर्तव्य बनता है कि हम इसका टेक्स्ट पार्ट को स्टडी करें, बिकॉज these Vignapti Patras or this kind of miniature paintings, they are attracting only the art historians. And these Vignapti Patras are studied by the art historians like we have one scholar Andhare in Ahmedabad, and even one student from abroad, she came, Dipti Khera, yes, I remember her name, Dipti Khera. She also worked in this field, but they studied the Vignapti Patra from the art point of view. They analyze the illustrations in the Vignapti Patra, but nobody studies the text part. It is very important to study the text part because it describes, the 17th, 18th century is the period when the local language has evolved. It has it has evolved from the Ardhamagdi, the Prakrut, and the Prakrut that is in Rajasthan and Maharashtra and Gujarat area. From this Prakrut, how these our old Gujarati and the Rajasthani, these languages are originated. So the development of these languages also we can study from this text of the Vignapti Patra. We can also study the folk language, the folk, the folk songs, and how these folk songs were sung in that during that time, how they are written in the Duha style, how they are written in the Ghazal style, and so there is a scope to study the folklore of the Rajasthan and Gujarat in this Vignapti Patra. Again, there is a scope for studying the which kind of folk instruments prevailing at that time, what kind of folk instruments people were using, and this is shown in the pictures. That very beautiful pictures that show the various kind of musical instruments they are holding in their hands and they are playing. So one can study that in the 17th century, in the 16th century, which kind of these lok vadyas were there portrayed in the Vignapti Patra. This is one thing. Another thing is the food. Which kind of food the people were eating, which kind of food they are selling in the market, what kind of dress they are wearing, and what kind of ornaments the women they wear, what kind of pagri they are wearing. The Rajasthan have different style, Gujarat has different style. So this is going to be very interesting and amazing. And the style of painting, of course, because in all the Vignapti Patras you will see the different style of painting. And Gujarat also has the Gujarati style of painting, and it has influenced many other areas. Even up to Nepal, the Gujarati style of painting has influence. So, like in Baroda, we have Professor Parimu who is working on Gujarati style of painting, and particularly in Jain paintings, he has his study. You have a scope for the style of painting, you have scope for the art appreciation, you have a scope for the Jain philosophy, the religious customs of Jainas, and even the genealogy of Jain Yatis is also very important in this Vignapti Patra, because the Jain Yatis, they travel from one place to another place. So the Jain Yati and his followers names also occur in this Vignapti Patra. So if you want to know the particular yati when he flourished, what was his time, what was his duration. So for that kind of history also, you can come to know about it from the Vignapti Patra. So it is also important from architectural point of view. You have seen the Rajasthan architecture style is different. The Gujarat style of architecture is different. You have seen the palaces are very different. The houses of common people, the houses of the ministers, they have different architectural designs. So that also you can study from here. So in many ways, these Vignapti Patras are very, very important. So it is my request to the participants, the people who are watching me live, any students of, naturally there will be many students of Sanskrit and Prakrit, because from Rajasthan there will be students from Prakrit also. And I would like to request them that please study all those beautiful poetry that are written in Vignapti Patra, because they are not studied at all. Okay, and somebody can take it up as a PhD topic, PhD thesis. Somebody can take it as a project for their work, and because I cannot simply one person. It's not a work of a one person. Everybody has to come forward and do this work. But this cannot be studied only by the Sanskritist or only by the Prakrit scholar, but everybody has to come forward, like expert of Sanskrit, Prakrit, Apabhransha, even the vernaculars, Jain scholars, the art historians, they have all have to come forward and to study these Vignapti Patras. And since we have with us the director of National Mission for Manuscripts, I can request him that these kind of text, these kind of manuscripts should be studied, should be preserved and conserved properly. We have these manuscript conservation centers everywhere in India. There are many centers, but for these kind of text, we need a special training, because they are in a very fragile condition. They are in a available in parts, because it is 40 feet or 30 feet long. So, and they are folded. So they are in parts available, like 4 parts or 3 parts. Then we have to join and then to study. But this is a high time. If we don't preserve them properly, if we don't conserve them properly, then we are going to lose them very early, because these are not found in copies. Other manuscripts, like we have Mahabharata, number of copies, Ramayana, number of copies are there, right? But this Vignapti Patra is only in a single copy. Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra is single in our library. Okay, Gondal Vignapti Patra, it is single in our library. So if we lose it forever. So when it is not, we cannot lose the text part, even the illustration part. Both way, it is very important. So the documentation of this Vignapti Patra is very important. Sir, we can have a special, grant or a special kind of mechanism we have to develop and preserve all these Vignapti Patras from western part of India. And Madam is with us. I can just share my idea. There's all those folk songs are there in the Deshi language. This I just assume that we can get it sung by the folk artist and can have a recording of these songs, because nowadays also when these Jain Yati come to the city, their procession is going on, they sing the song to welcome them. But we need to preserve all those old folk songs. They written in Rajasthani language or in old Gujarati, but this can be, get it sung by the folk artist of Western India, and we can make a recording of these songs. So that is very important. So this is what I wanted to say about Vignapti Patra. There are many things I can speak for a number of hours, because I am very much passionate to work about it. I have 4 Vignapti Patras about which I can speak for hours together. But this is in short I deliver, and I hope that I have created kind of interest in the participants, particularly the Western people, the students from western part of India, you please come forward, try to search those Vignapti Patras. They are not so easily available, let me say, because when they are in the government libraries, they are easily available. But when they are in the private collections, when they are in the Jain temples, you need to go again and again. You have to convince, you have to create a faith in them that you are a scholar, you want to study for the good of the literature. You want to bring out those literature for the betterment of public. You want to contribute to the knowledge, so go to various places and try to collect all those manuscripts. And one thing I should not miss here is the who are the people who have worked in this field earlier. The one book that is important is the Hirananda Shastri's Ancient Vignapti Patras. That is very important book. One can study this book for the beginners. They can study this book. The another book is Vignapti Lekha Sangraha, and that Jain Yati is the first one who visited various libraries. He collected the this Vignapti Patras, and then he has collected and he edited the Vignapti Patras. Some 17, 18 Vignapti Patras are there in that book. You can read that book. And the Jain Journal, yes, Jain Journal has published some articles on Jain Vignapti Patras. My Jaisalmer Vignapti Patra is published in Kruti Rakshan, that is published from NMM. You can read that article from there. And there is a one patrika that is known as Anusandhan. It is published from Ahmedabad, and it has 2 volumes they have published, I think volume number 63 and 64. So these 2 volumes, they have edited many Vignapti Patras, but it is only the text part. They have not covered the illustration part. So the Jain Munis have, with a lot of efforts, they have edited this Jain Vignapti Patras. I think 100 Vignapti Patras are there in Anusandhan Patrika. You can read those, and you can study. Of course, these edited text you can take as your PhD thesis and make a study of it. So when this Jina Muni Vijay, with great honor and with great respect, I would like to say that when Jina Vijay Muni, when he first edited the Vignapti Lekha Sangraha, he in his preface says that these Vignapti Patras are very important from historical, cultural point of view. These are not simply the text of Jain religion, but they also reflect on the culture and history of Jain religion, Jain community, and even the local places. And he has given this emphasis that it should be taken up as a for research as a PhD thesis, to write a PhD thesis. It can be taken up as a project. And he said that I could not collect many Vignapti Patras, but only the 16 or 17, I don't remember the number. But he said that there are many others in western part, and I leave it for others to collect and edit. And I'm happy to say that Anusandhana Patrika has done this work, and many, his editor, Jain Muniji, at present I don't remember the name, but he and his other Jain Munis, they have done this wonderful work, and they brought to light some 100 Vignapti Patras. So it is only the text, but it is very important to read and to study. So this is what, to sum up, I thank Jha sir, the director of National Mission for Manuscripts, to give me this opportunity, to give me this big platform to share my ideas about Vignapti Patra. I also thank Madam Anupama Katruji for presiding over and I'm very much eager to know about her comments on my lecture. And last but not the least, all my colleagues, my friends, the participants from Gujarat, Maharashtra, and other parts of India, and I hope from abroad, because some have registered from abroad also. So I thank all of you from the core of my heart, and wish any of you can make a study of this thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shweta Prajapati ji. I hope I'm audible. Like, can you hear me? Yeah. So thank you so much for that enlightening lecture. Just to share a bit about my association with NMM. In fact, I consider it my privilege, after coming in Ministry of Culture, when one of the projects which IGNC is associated with, which is National Mission on Manuscripts, I had an opportunity to be associated with it. And I'm really proud of the work they are trying to do. In fact, this work has started way back in 2003, as Mr. Jha had mentioned in the beginning. And from 2005, in addition to, of course, the core work of the mission is digitizing, cataloging, and preserving manuscripts. As you rightly said, if we don't preserve this knowledge, and our treasure will be lost forever. But as you know, ma'am, our manuscripts, which are by some estimates about 1 crore manuscripts all over the country, and some of them are in private hands. And many times the owner of the manuscripts is hesitant to even show it to you because they're so precious, if they're on bark or palm leaf, and they're very fragile. So people get to be very sentimental about their own manuscripts in their possession. So we do try through all our manuscript research centers and conservation centers to actually go and preserve them in situ, that is at source, rather than to take them away because they're so fragile. Some of them may be damaged while we carry them, and we cannot centralize everything in Delhi. So we try to spread out, and I think we have covered so many states. We are trying to have more centers, and also dissemination is important, ma'am. As you rightly said, for instance, today you told us about one very important kind of Jain manuscripts in which you have beautiful illustrations of the miniature paintings. Similarly, we have so much variety in so many languages and scripts of India, many of them very rare, like Sharda. Thanks to NMM's efforts, we have been able to collect almost 100 scholars now who are able to interpret these manuscripts. So as you rightly said, it's so important that more and more students should take up these manuscripts for researching, because a kind of variety, ma'am. I am also a student. I feel very excited when I see these illustrated manuscripts. In fact, I'll share with you, when I last visited Srinagar, I went to Sri Pratap Singh Library. I just brought their catalog of manuscripts. There's a beautiful catalog. They have about 6,000 manuscripts. So you'll be amazed at Sanskrit, Persian. All this is Katha Sarit Sagar, in fact, by Kashmiri author Somdev. It was written on birch. Now imagine on birch, such an old manuscript, if it is lost, what a rich collection of stories would have been lost to the world. Similarly, Panchatantra also, Vishnu Sharman's. As you said rightly, ma'am, even the religious manuscripts per se, you can call them religious or philosophical, they have a lot of knowledge about the culture of that time, which is so important. Like you beautifully showed, even the kind of costume or music or dance. So every manuscript tells such a rich story, especially the illustrated ones. And it's so important to read the text as also understand the picture. What is it say? What is it trying to say? And we need scholars to actually research the text. So we have such a continuous history of recording, oral as well as written manuscripts in India. If you go back to Natya Shastra, with some date, say dates back to 2nd century by Bharat Muni, and then you come all the way down to Wajid Ali Shah when he wrote a treatise of Musammi Babani, which is preserved luckily with us in Victoria Memorial Museum in Kolkata, in which he wrote a whole treatise on Kathak. and very detailed about the costumes, the music related to a performance. And in between, you had this great saint, Shaivite saint in Kashmir, Abhinav Gupta, who also wrote about music and dance. In fact, he wrote a very famous treatise on Natya Shastra called Abhinav Bharati. This would have been lost to the world if we had not got these manuscripts and preserved them. Another thing I want to show you, ma'am, this was something I found in Srinagar. It's a manuscript called Gurunath Paramarsh, interestingly written by a disciple of Abhinav Gupta who was known as Madhuraja. Imagine he came all the way from Madurai to stay with Abhinav Gupta, and he made this beautiful illustrated, I'll just show you, this is the illustration. And he's trying to show the saint sitting there and how he used to write, because Abhinav Gupta was a master of many arts, including not just spirituality and Shaivism, but also music and dance. So an author coming all the way from Tamil Nadu and being a disciple, staying in Kashmir and studying his master's ways. So the kind of, the way these manuscripts have managed to record history of exchange of cultures between various parts of the country, it is simply amazing. And we're so grateful that we have been able to preserve a lot of them. And ma'am, we have our website. We are hoping very soon that 13 lakh manuscripts which we have already digitized, we will be putting it in public domain with a very good catalog, with very detailed metadata, so that when you search, for example, you were very rightly saying that if you search today for Vignapti Patra, you may not find it. But our endeavor will be that you can search it from many, kind of metadata. Suppose you say Jain manuscripts, or you say the region Rajasthan. So in various subcategories, you will be able to search what you're looking for. So the endeavor is to make it really simple. The search should be very powerful, so that not just a research scholar, but a layman who wants to understand and just have a glimpse of the rich culture that we've had in this country is able to access the manuscript. But again, as you said, that will just be an introduction. If I don't know the script, what do I read? So somebody has to do research, and we have to publish that research. So we are so happy, ma'am, with your lecture today. This will also be published as part of a Tattva Bodh series, which we have published about 7 volumes already. It was very rich, the content, as I can see from the comments. All the participants were very happy. And we will be so glad to have you with us. Please be in touch, ma'am. We look for your guidance, and hopefully we'll continue to be enriched by your contribution to this very important stream of knowledge in our country. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
On behalf of National Mission for Manuscripts, I'd like to thank all the participants who joined today and made this online Tattva Bodh lecture series successful. And I'd like to thank the speaker, Dr. Shweta Prajapati, for her beautiful presentation. So thank you, Shweta ji, for this excellent presentation. I'd like to thank ma'am for her presence and that encouraged us to do a lot of more. Although I know that what she spoke is a lot of work, we have to do it. But yes, certainly, ma'am, we will do it, and we'll show it that the people will get happy with what we are doing at NMM. I also like to thank the member secretary, IGNC, Dr. Sachidanand Joshi, who basically approved and guiding us in all these activities which we are doing it time and again at the NMM, at the IGNC as a whole. And also like to thank the NEGT team, especially Priya Sharma, Shilohu Rai, and Bhumika Suri. We'll again join in the last Sunday of next month, I think perhaps on 28th June or so, again at 5 o'clock with the next of the Tattva Bodh series. So thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Raji. Thank you.